All right, guys, we got a good show for you today. We have Cole Freeman. He's quarterback at Northwestern. He went to Della Barton School. Thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to kind of get to talking and yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Everyone's got like a different journey of how they got into the sport. How did you get into football yourself personally?
So my dad played O line at left tackle at Penn State, and so he was a 2 year starter. He signed with the Colts for about a year, and yeah, so he loved football, and basically as soon as I could walk, I loved just playing with a football and running around. Um, and yeah, I think I started flag football in like pre-K or kindergarten.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of leagues around where I lived, so it was great to kind of have that as like a introduction to football. And yeah, so I played flag until about like fourth grade. Then I started tackle, played for a couple teams, and yeah, I just loved it ever since.
Yeah, a little different build than a left tackle for you.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I did. Thank God I didn't get the lineman genes, but
Yeah, your dad does some coaching too, I think I saw, correct?
yes, he coached a lot of my like teams when I was younger. And so now he coaches my little brother and has done a little kind of coaching on the side, just volunteering. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you
I
ever like after game stuff, do you guys ever like chalk up, watch some film and he can help you out and see where you maybe did things or is not really happen with him?
oh yeah. So I literally probably after every practice in high school, me and him would watch film, and I just because I loved having someone else to talk to, and because he gets it. So it was great to have him there after games when we're on the bus ride home. I mean, I'd call him to just talk to him if there was things I wanted to kind of rant about or kind of go through with him because he had a different angle. Kind of ask him about that, what he thought about the way I played, what I could have done better. It's great to just have him there as like another voice and like another coach to kind of help me grow, develop.
Yeah, we kind of talked about in the show. I'm class 2021. Our class, it was really hard with, recruiting, just everything getting shut down and stuff. So with that time when everything was shut down, what'd you do to stay like, prepared for your upcoming high school season and just look good so when colleges came to you, you were ready?
Yeah, so it was definitely tough. I was very under recruited going into like that the COVID spring and summer, and really, I mean, ever since the lockdown, my friends and I would go to the field, and I mean, there were some fields that were kind of closed down because of COVID,
Yeah.
so we would just go around trying to find fields to get work in. We would work out at my house, some of my friends' houses, get runs in, and just do everything we could to stay in shape. And basically, we convinced ourselves that there would be a season no matter what. And we were lucky enough to be able to have a season, have a chance to compete again, and show coaches what we could do. But definitely having that mindset that we were going to have a season, we needed to be ready to kill it and try to go undefeated.
Yeah,
Um,
you talked about recruiting a bit. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were committed to Brown for a little bit, and
I
then before you decided to go to Northwestern, can you talk about what made you decide to go to Northwestern, and then around the time when you committed to Brown, just everything that went on during that time.
Yeah, so I've always had a great relationship with Coach Jake, since he was at Boston College. So they were recruiting me a little bit back in my sophomore junior year, and so he got to see me throw a couple times. I got to talk with him, and I really respected him as a coach and just loved him as a coach and just a great guy. And so I had talked to him a little bit over the summer about my interest in Northwestern, and they really had no idea what their roster spot situation would look like with everything going on with COVID and the new rules like by the NCAA.
Yeah.
So I had a scholarship offer from Monmouth, and then I had an offer from Brown, and I kind of felt I felt that it was the best decision to commit to Brown at the time because those were really the main options I had.
Yeah.
And I other than taking a postgraduate year, which at the time I just didn't really think was a better option than Brown.
Hmm.
But yeah, so over the winter and spring, I had workouts. I started doing like 7-on-7 tournaments and all that, and I really just wanted to give myself an opportunity to compete at the FBS level. And so I mean, the first coach that came to mind was when I made that decision was Coach Jake, and
Yeah.
so um, I was able to talk to him and figure out whether I had an opportunity there. And so I was able to. They said that they had room for me, and he loved me as a guy to bring in for that spot. So and everything ended up working out with that. And so yeah, so I had to figure that out with Brown, but it all worked out.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was crazy for me because you'd go, for me, it was like, because art in my sport, it's like 10 and 12 spots. So it's like, you got to figure out if people are redshirting. It was so hard to figure out if you had enough spots or not. So I get that 100%. It was crazy. It was a lot of last second decisions, I feel like, were
Yeah,
made. Um,
exactly.
so have you been to Northwestern? Or are you there now? I don't know if you started practices and what they're like.
So yeah, so I was on campus for the past like week and a half. I just got home today for uh, the like July 4th break like weekend. But yeah, so we basically we got workouts and runs with the team, uh, and the coaches aren't involved at all. So we're just I'm getting to know all of my freshman teammates, all the upperclassmen, and we're really just kind of grinding in the weight room and running, getting in shape, and no, it's been awesome so far though,
Yeah.
getting to see all the facilities and everything.
No, that's great. I want to talk about a little about the high school season because you guys went 6-0. What attribute do you think your team's success last year?
So it was we had a very strong senior class. I think we had like 25 guys, which was unheard of for our school. And yeah, we just it was kind of it had been a long time coming. So our freshman year we all knew we had a kind of a special class. We had some playmakers and our football team was kind of coming off like a rough couple seasons being in the Big North. So we really just grinded throughout high school, growing slowly. We went like 6-4 sophomore year, 6-4 junior year,
Yeah.
and then our senior year came and we had the massive win to start off the season against Seton Hall. Then we went on to beat DePaul, who was another rival, and then we had the win against Bosco,
Oscar's a big one. Yeah.
first time in 20 years, and that was amazing. And it was just we really worked hard as a team over the summer, just kind of really starting to click and to get our chemistry going. And yeah, we were able to come together and just put together a great season, a great series of wins. And we wish that there was an opportunity for a state championship, but
Yeah.
you know, every it's all right. I mean, it's gonna haunt us for a
Yeah.
while, but we still had a great season, and it was definitely a good way to end our careers there.
Yeah, at least you got to play. So I know a lot of kids that had transfer states to play or they didn't get a season at all. You talked about a little bit about being under recruited and stuff. One thing I've noticed is a trend is like a lot of New Jersey football players are very underrated. A lot of them going to do things when they weren't, at the start of high school or during recruiting, they didn't get the biggest schools or anything. But when you go out and you look at the games, some of the best talent in the states there. How do you feel New Jersey, football is with everyone else in the country?
Yeah, so I definitely think that with New Jersey, it's tough because there's a couple non-public schools that really kind of carry the state. There are some players, some amazing players throughout the state that are kind of more spread out.
Yeah,
But you look at teams like Bergen Catholic, Don Bosco, St. Peter's Prep. They're absolutely stacked with Division One talent. Like
yeah,
Bergen, I think Bergen Catholic's entire D line has multiple FBS offers
yeah,
um, in different classes, but it's just some of these teams really are that talented, and so it's great for me. It was great for me to prepare for the next level, playing against guys like that and teams with players that really did have that kind of talent. Now, I think there are states with that have more depth, like Texas, Florida, California. There's definitely just way more players with that kind of talent that's spread out across the state. Um, but New Jersey definitely has some schools that are powerhouses.
Yeah, I mean, I go up there every 3 weeks because all my friends are up there. You were talking about going to the shore, but I'm doing an interview with Jaden Gold. He went to
Yeah,
Bergen.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
I'm
nasty.
supposed to meet up with him, and I didn't realize it until I started going up there and hanging out with my friends. But like how big they really are, like those prep schools. That's what's big. I went to the Hun school in Princeton. I
Yeah,
realized that was a
I
big
did
one.
too.
But starting to learn about that. In football wise, what's the best play you think you ever made yourself? It could be
Um,
like fourth grade. I mean, I have one. I was like me for basketball. I was like I dunked when I'm like the little kid hoop in like third grade when no one was dunking on it. That was my favorite thing.
I that's awesome. I think that uh we my junior year we went into triple overtime with DePaul and we ended up winning in triple overtime.
Yeah.
I made a play on third down in double overtime that I think may as of right now might be the my best play of my
Yeah.
career so far.
No.
Uh
Yeah, it's
yeah,
awesome.
and I'll show you that one, but I think that's what I'm
Yeah,
going.
you have to send me that one. I'll put the highlight in during it. Someone's never seen you play. How did you like describe your game to them?
I like to think of myself as a pro style quarterback that can move
Hmm.
in the pocket and outside of the pocket like a not necessarily like a dual threat, but I'm a playmaker.
Yeah.
So even if I'm not the fastest guy on the field, I know how to make plays and get in certain positions that will allow me to get rid of the ball and deliver the ball to guys downfield.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so I think that I'm a pass first guy,
Yeah.
but I did also contribute a lot of rushing to our team this past year, and I think I have that capability as well.
Yeah. So you described like, your game there. Was there any players growing up you looked up to, kind of modeled your game after, or did you not really have that?
No, so I definitely do, and so my overall favorite quarterback of all time because I feel like I can relate to his mental game is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for him as a player, as a teammate, as a leader, and just his career as a whole has been amazing to kind of watch over the past 2 decades. But yeah, no, I think Tom Brady he comes across as the most competitive and fiery quarterback I've ever seen, and I love every minute of watching him.
Yeah.
And then also, I really tend to try to model my game after Baker Mayfield. He's an amazing quarterback. He was one of the, in college, he was such an amazing playmaker. He won the Heisman, 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I'm a Browns fan, so I love to hear that. I've been
Yeah. So,
since I get older.
yo, that's
My
awesome.
favorite quote with Baker Mayfield is real legends rest in silence like lasagna. After a game, he said that. That was my favorite Baker quote.
He's amazing. I love watching him play as well. He never ceases to amaze you.
Yeah, we had beef a little bit when he was at Oklahoma because he put the plan in Ohio State's flat. But then once he came to Cleveland, we started to forget
All is
about it because we
forgiven.
beat the Steelers, and that was all we needed him to do for us.
There we go.
Okay. Final, three questions. In the off season right now, what areas of the game are you working on?
So I'm definitely working on my speed and my strength right now. Just really grinding in the weight room and on the field running, really trying to get as quick as I can while also just getting a little bigger and getting stronger to kind of get my body ready um, for what you need to look like to play in the Big Ten and what you need to be able to play like. Uh, I'm preparing for a couple of years of just really growing as a quarterback, as a player, behind some of the great guys that we have in Northwestern, and just really trying to mentally get there, learn the playbook,
Yeah.
memorize all of the things I need to know, continue to learn about the more complex defenses that are in the Big Ten and in FBS football,
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I'm super excited to keep doing that and keep growing.
No, I think the best defensive conference in FBS is the Big Ten. So of course it's going to take a lot, but that makes you such a better player. Final two questions. We always finish off with these. Over the course of your career, what do you think is the best piece of advice you ever heard?
Whew. Honestly, I think I've heard a lot of times coaches talk about the mental part of football. And I getting to college and really getting to watch guys, and I mean even for years watching guys and watching the most talented guys you'll ever see
Yeah.
not pan out as much as some guys that just really get it and
Yeah.
are there mentally, and watching those guys just excel. It's I think that is definitely one of the pieces of advice that has stuck with me. And it's just football really comes down to, well, what you got from the neck up. And I
Yeah.
mean, you got to be talented, you got to work on your craft and all that, but to be a successful player at that kind of level, you need to be there mentally, and you need to really put in the work to understand your offense, your defense, what your job is, whatever position you are. You gotta mentally get it and get to that spot.
Yeah, and that's one thing that people don't talk about enough is like, you see the game, but you don't realize all the playbook memorization, everything that goes into it. So you can go out in the field and, put together a decent offense. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Final question. We always finish off with it. So when your football career is over down the line, how do you want people to remember yourself?
That's a great question. Uh, you know what? The thing I'm gonna care about most is what those around me thought of me, and kind of how it made them feel, and what they thought of playing with me. So my coaches, my trainers, the everyone that works in the facilities at Northwestern at my high school, all my teammates, kind of what they thought of me as a person, as a man, and as a player, and what kind of leader I was, what kind of teammate I was, the way I supported them, whether I was a good listener, learned things quickly, all the different things that you really people care about. That's probably what I will think about, how people thought of me.
Yeah, well, that's awesome here. Cole, really appreciate you coming on, man. Definitely, and a couple of guys friends with, they play Northwestern, so definitely gonna catch a game over the course of your career. So
For
thanks
sure.
for coming on, man.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, for sure.